Welcome to the Elite Life with Trisha and Kylie. This is where we'll teach you how to develop grit, give yourself grace, and succeed in real estate. So let's dive in.
Okay, we're here.
Hi.
What's up? Welcome back.
You can sing almost, huh?
Oh, no. No. I've seen one too many episodes of Parks and Rec.
Okay.
So anyone who watches that knows exactly who that character is.
Well, welcome to the Elite Life podcast, guys.
Yeah, we're so glad you're here. And Trisha has put together a charcuterie board of deliciousness content for us to go over today.
Yeah, we're going to call it What the Shift. What the Shift? What's happening?
What is happening? I don't know what the hell is happening. I look around and I'm like, what is going on? Is this where y'all want to be when Jesus comes back? So
Yeah. Well, there is a lot of fear right now. And I got the idea for this episode. I was actually listening to one of Ed Mylett's podcasts, and he had Dean Graziosi on there. And they were talking about how to navigate the changing times in the economy, because there's a lot going on. And when a lot of things change and shift and people start to look backwards on what has happened, they get very scared. And they talked about how when you're scared, your brain goes into fight, flight, or freeze. And right now, everybody's freezing. Everybody is sitting on their hands and they are freezing because we all don't know what's going to happen next. And real talk, when you listen to any of the shows, the CNBC, all of those news shows, which I don't watch news shows, but I do listen to podcasts, so I do know what's going on. And they talk about, we are in a recession right now. We are in a recession, and that sounds very scary to people. But what I didn't know until I listened to podcasts is the average length of a recession is only 18 months, and we're like 6 months in.
well, also too, let's talk about what a recession is. It's 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth, if I'm correct.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's what that means.
Yeah.
So it's not even like, the stock market's crashing and, it's literally just our GDP is down.
Yeah. And I think that that's important to say, because people are running around like Chicken Little, like the sky is falling. And it's not, y'all. Let's take a breath. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's put this into perspective. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Like, what do you do during a recession? We just answered the question, what is a recession? How long is a recession? So we're looking at and again, we don't have a crystal ball, so it could be longer. Some people are saying it may be longer, but if we can navigate the next year and do it, with some knowledge and some intelligence, a lot of people come out of a recession even better than they went in. And they talked about Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, Mylett, Graziosi, like they all grew their companies during a recession. So if you have been thinking about a business idea or starting a company and you're thinking, this is the worst possible time to do it, absolutely not. And here is why. They talked about when the masses freeze, like the best thing you can do is get off of your hands and take advantage of this time, because there is lower competition in the world. All of these people that would have been your competitors, they're scared. So they're not doing anything. So let's talk about real estate, right? Like right now, realtors are starting to get out of the business. Like we know that 87% of agents fail in their first 5 years or quit. Well, that percentage is going to go up even higher, and more people are exiting because it's getting harder. So what does that mean? Agents like yourself and myself and our agents at Elite and the agents that do Stars Academy, they kick that grind button in, and they start grinding and they start hustling and they start working. Now they have less competition. There's less agents to take the buyers. There's less agents to take the listings, because those agents are scared. And so they're exiting for something safer, like a 9 to 5 or something of that nature. And now we have less competition. So it's better for us. Like, we're growing, right?
Yeah. And I also think it's a great time for team leaders and brokers, because these agents who have not done stars or who come from teams or brokerages that don't properly train, those are the people, those are the agents that are going to fail and quit and go for something more consistent because they're not seeing that consistent income. So if you're a team lead or you're a broker, now is a great time to recruit and really push your training. And if you need help training or figuring out training, whether you've got one person, on your team, or if you're looking to grow, like Stars Academy is a great, like, shameless plug, but it's a great foundation because it allows you to give your agents a foundation. It basically gives them the standard operating procedures, which as an administrative consultant, I've noticed that a lot of businesses, that's really where they hit the grind. Like, if you don't set up standard operating procedures from the beginning, it makes it harder to grow. But that's where Stars comes in. We basically do it for you. But now is a really good time to capitalize on all of those agents who are thinking about getting out because it's too hard.
Yeah, and that actually brings me to the next thing, which is double down on yourself. Like, you're going to have more time, right? Like, if you... Right now, we had all of these buyers and no inventory, and now buyers are less because so many people are scared and they don't know interest rates, this, that. So some of you buyers agents, you have more time. Use this time to learn. Listen to podcasts, what you're doing right now. You hear us, right? Get yourself some coaching. I do free coaching calls. Get your business plan in order. Have a strategy. Work on yourself. Start your workouts. Like, make yourself feel good. Like, this is the time to really double down on yourself. And you mentioned Stars Academy, and I love it because, like, I just got a message from TJ Cheslick, and he is an agent. He heard me speak at an event last November, and he came to me after the event, and he's like, do you coach? And I'm like, absolutely. And he's like, I'm going to get licensed as a realtor. I believe that I can do this. You just inspired me even more. Like, I'm following you on Instagram. And so he followed me on Instagram. He went and took the class, went and took the test. And he's like, okay, now what? And I'm like, here's the link. Go to mystarsacademy.com, register for the Agent Accelerator program, do the program. After you're done, let's have a coaching call. He did the program. He started putting into play right away what we teach in Stars Academy. And in less than 60 days before we even had our coaching call, he's like, oh my gosh, like I did everything you said in there. I already have 3 closings. Like, I had one yesterday. I have one today. I have one on Monday. And so it's like, success leaves clues, but you have to invest in yourself. You have to do this training. You have to seek out good training. Like, don't let yourself fall through the cracks. Like, if you're a realtor, you spend so much time and energy to get licensed. Don't let that license go. Like, get yourself some good training, get yourself some good coaching, because right now, that's what's going to define the winners and the losers when we come out of this recession is, did you work on yourself? Did you set up a strong base? Did you start to double down on your customer care, your client care, your knowledge, your passion for what you're doing? And this is also the time people are like, this is the worst time to make a jump. Actually, it's the best time, because if you are sitting here thinking like, I don't like what I do daily in my job, then change it. Change it. Right now is the time to change it, because you're able again to get in where there's less competition, less people making those movements. Go and take that big scary jump right now. And it's kind of crazy to say, but when I opened Elite Realty, that's when the short sale boom was starting to taper off. So like, we had all this business in short sales, and so we were like thriving in short sales, and I was working with somebody else, and all of a sudden I was like, you know what, I want to reopen my own office again. I don't like working for somebody else. And me and Andy sat down and we're like, okay, like, is this the right time to do it? Because the real estate industry was changing. All of a sudden, short sales were going away. So all that business was going away.
Right.
And we weren't sure what was going to come next. And I was like, we need to bet on ourselves. We know we can do this. We sat down and wrote a business plan. We rallied our troops, all of our people that weren't happy at the real estate office they were at. I was like, hey, we're going to make something amazing. It's going to be something you could be proud to be a part of.
Yeah.
Like let's inspire and grow together. Like, I don't don't know exactly what will come from it, but I know it'll be great and we'll do it together. And you will be heard and you will be proud and you will love where you work.
But like Trisha just said, now is a great time to make a leap, but don't do it without having a plan in place. And I mean, like she just said, we're here to help you put a plan in place. Whether it's not just real estate, I mean, business is business. Entrepreneurship is entrepreneurship. And even though the field might be different, the services, the products might be different, the foundations, the key points to success are all the same. So if that's something you're thinking about, give us a call, shoot us a text message, send us an email, smoke signals, all of that. We're happy to help you kind of flesh that out and figure out what it is that you want to do. I've been rereading the Crush It by Gary Vee because I like to go back because it reminds me of all the things that the first and second and third time I read it, like, oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, this is a great idea. I'm going to do this. And I make notes in the book. So like I'll leaf through the book. But if you are passionate about something and it's not what you're doing, now is a great time to make that thing a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings me to the next one, which is action begets action. And the more you do, the more wins that you are going to add up. And I've talked about before, like getting on that winning streak. So like you write out your business plan, you write out your strategy to get there. You start doubling down on your education and your personal development and making yourself the person that would be successful in that. And every time you take action, you get a win, and you take another action and you get a win, and you take another action and you get a win, and you get excited and you start winning and going, and there's less competition. And that's why now is a great time to come out of this recession and growth, right? Like we came out of the pandemic better than we went in. And we're going to do the same thing in this recession. We're going to come out even better than we went in. And if we went in already winning, we're going to come out like, 10, 20, 100x that, right? Yeah. So start taking massive action. When other people aren't taking action, that's when you want to take massive action because you have bigger chances to win. There's less, like if you are staying in your lane and the competition's just falling off, like think about it like a NASCAR race, right? Like you're going and this guy, he gets out of control and goes away. And this guy, he gets out of control and goes away. And you're just going and just crushing it, right? And like you're going to keep adding up those wins and keep adding up that success. And the last one I have is like now is also a great time. Like they always say like buy low, sell high, right?
Yes.
So get out there and like you have a chance to start getting into the stock market where maybe you couldn't before, buying real estate where maybe you couldn't before, like changing your perspective and making a new normal, right? Like we learned that terminology during the pandemic. What's our new normal? And I think that as we start to reframe what things should look like, right? Like, and we always go back to real estate, but I have been putting up all these listings, including my own personal house. And I have to remember, like, even though it was, very normal and the thing where I would list a house, I would have an open house, I would have 50 people through, I would have 25 offers on Sunday. I listed my house on Friday. I had an open house. I had 40, 50 people through, 20 pairs of people. And I got one offer and it wasn't a great offer. I didn't take it. So I have to like recalibrate to this new normal. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It doesn't mean I need to change anything. I just need to be patient now.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to recalibrate our new normal. And instead of being like, oh, the world is falling. No, this is just the new norm. And that's part of adulting and part of life, right? Like we have to recalibrate our expectations and understand that as things change, we will have a new normal. Houses will sit on the market a little bit longer. You'll be able to offer a little bit less than asking price. Interest rates may be a little bit higher right now. And one of my loan officers said, I've used it so many times. It's your forever home, not your forever loan. Mm-hmm. So you can still buy a house and get a little bit of a higher interest rate and next year refinance. I've only lived in this house for 2.5 years. I've already refinanced myself. So it's not out of the ordinary to buy a home right now when you can get it for a less price, because prices are going to keep going up, guys. Don't get it twisted. Like they'll go up much slower, but they're going to keep increasing. The best time to buy a house was yesterday. The next best time is today. And then tomorrow, right? But the longer you wait, the higher those prices are going to get. So buy now while it's lower. That way, later on, when all this is over, you can be one of those people that were like, yes, I capitalized when prices were lower.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing I was sharing before we actually started recording, which we have to quit doing, is doing our show before we're recording. But I was listening to the news the other day. I don't listen to the actual news. I also listen to podcasts, but a few of them are legitimate news podcasts. And I was learning that because of the lockdown, all of these retailers have so much more inventory of things, things that they had stocked up on because we were buying everything during the pandemic. We were, buying a ton of lounge pants and slippers and house coats and all of these things. And now, because we are in a recession, like let's be real, let's call a spade, people are tightening their luxury spending. You're still buying food, you're still buying gas, but because the cost of those items has gone up, you have less money to buy t-shirts and cotton candy and all of those little extras. Those are extras at my house, by the way. And so they are having to mark these things down considerably in order to move this inventory. So now is a really great time to kind of go shopping. If you've been thinking of buying that, that shelving unit or redoing your wardrobe, like I hate all of my clothes. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to budget for $150 spending spree. And I'm going to go to Kohl's and I'm going to go to Walmart and see what I can find. Right. Mm-hmm. I've heard that higher end boutiques and, retailers are going through this as well. And the other thing that I'm learning is cryptocurrency right now. Digital currency is, they're seeing they're seeing, with the fluctuation of the stock market and things like that, buying in right now, like you said, is a really great time because you're going to be able to, that's not something that you buy and sell and flip. It's not like flipping houses. It's a holding pattern, right? So like you buy, just like the stock market, you buy in right now on cryptocurrency while it is still super low and relatively affordable, and you hold it, and you're going to hold it for 5, 10, 15 years and, see what happens. But I know right now you can get into that for like $10, $20. So instead of buying that, Starbucks latte that you're buying 3 or 4 times a week, you can actually start building a really nice portfolio for yourself down the road.
Yeah. And for those of you that have always kind of wanted to get into it, but you can't necessarily afford a financial advisor or something like that, there's an app called Robinhood. Yep. And I know like that's where Trent, my 18-year-old son, if an 18-year-old kid can figure it out and he said, just like you said, he's like, Mom, can I start with $10? And I'm like, yeah. And so he put the $10 in and he made some money. And then he's like, okay, can I do $20? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, man, I'm like doing really good at this. So like, again, there's very easy, small ways to start that down the road, like let's think of big picture of life. Like if you guys really sit and think about your big picture of life, right? Like on average, people are living to 80, 90 years old right now. Mm-hmm. So what's 18 months? Like this is going to be such a drop in the pan that when we're 5, 6 years from now, we're not going to be thinking about like, oh, we were stressed out about this or that today, right? Like we just need to get through the next 12 months. Do it with intelligence, grow, take action, consistency, use the extra time you have to double down on yourself, use any extra funds you have to invest and build and grow, whether that be your business, your portfolio, your relationships. Like,
amen. Let's not forget about those important foundations of society, those relationship things that we have.
Yes. Use the extra time you have wisely. And again, like I take it back to the pandemic because during the pandemic, we had a lot of extra time. And I made sure during that extra time, I used that extra time to work out, to call my clients, to talk to my agents. Like that's where we started Tuesday Team Chat. We always had an accountability meeting on Tuesday where we talked about our goals. But what do you do when you have no goals? You just sit together and check in. Keep those relationships going. Make sure your people are taken care of. Like you said, that it was Kaya or Casey was like, I'm going to take care of my people. Be taking care of your people and taking care of those things. And don't just freeze, guys. Don't just freeze. Don't let the next 12 months pass you by and you come out of it going, I don't know what just happened. Everything was terrible because you just froze. Like use this time, big risks, beget big rewards. And you may not know what that reward is going to look like, but if you are taking those risks and you are taking action and you keep moving the needle forward, that compounds to great success. So take action, take advantage of this time when there's less competition. And what do we say? Build an empire and leave a legacy. Right?
Oh, I thought you were going to say get your poop in a group.
That's what Kylie says. So Kylie says get your poop in a group, and I say build an empire and leave a legacy.
This is why she is the inspiring one, and I have funny phrases. Would you call me the comic relief?
The comic relief, no.
Because I'm just here because Trisha is so incredibly intense.
You are an ever inspiration too. I don't have 3 littles at home.
I mean, at one point you had like 5 or 6 of them, though. So
I did, and we would be having very different conversations.
You put your time in. You put your time in.
I did.
You got to pay your dues. Well, thank you for paying your dues with us. We are so glad that you stopped by today. We hope that we got you out of the fear box of everything that is coming out of the stupid television that we have in our house. You could just probably unplug that and throw that right in the garbage.
Yeah.
So take action. Make sure that you are intentionally sitting down and making a plan. Ryan and I sit down every night and I say, let's talk about tomorrow. Let's talk about tomorrow. Because even though we're not promised tomorrow, tomorrow's most likely going to come and you're going to need something to do. So write some stuff down, take action, and come back next week to sit with us and talk about something else that's going to be super fun, inspiring, important, and growth related.
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday. Bye.
We thank you so much for joining us today on the Elite Live with Trish and Kylie. Be sure to share the episode with a friend so we can continue bringing you more great tips on grit, grace, and real estate. You can also connect with us on Instagram, Facebook. We hope the ideas we share continue to help you build an empire and leave a legacy.